But yes, so this brings us to Rashida Tlaib. There is a movement in the Michigan, which is having its primary next week, and actually early voting is happening now. So people, if you're in Michigan, you can go out and early vote right now. Rather than getting behind Marianne Williamson or Dean Phillips or writing in Cenk Uygur, who wasn't able to get on the ballot because of the issues around natural-born citizens versus non-natural-born citizens, what a group in Michigan is urging people to do is vote uncommitted. They got an extremely powerful supporter now in Representative Rashida Tlaib. We can play her clip here.
It is important, as you all know, to not only march against the genocide, not only make sure that we're calling our members of Congress and local electeds and passing city resolutions all throughout our country. It is also important to create a voting bloc, something that is a bullhorn to say enough is enough. We don't want a country that supports wars and bombs and destruction. We want to support life. We want to stand up for every single life killed in Gaza. Don't make us even more invisible. Right now, we feel completely neglected and just unseen by our government. If you want us to be louder, then come here and vote uncommitted.
So the
very interesting.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the Democratic media ecosystem has decided, in their infinite wisdom, that they're going to Streisand affect this.
Okay.
That they're going to
So what have they
have
done?
they're going to have a temper tantrum of such epic proportions that her social media video will reach exponentially more people because they can't handle even the tiniest of challenges. Not even voting against him. NBC News, like, Rashida Tlaib says vote against Biden. No, she didn't say that. She said vote uncommitted.
That's right.
Which is like, we'll still support you in the general election if you just do the things that we're asking you to do. So let's go to MSNBC real quickly for some sober analysis.
Let's talk about how the realities of politics works in Washington, D.C. I got a lot of friends and family in Detroit. I care a lot about that proud Black community. What up, though, to all the folks in Detroit? When Jalen Rose Leadership Academy and Wayne State and Cass Tech don't get the proper appropriations from the Democratic administration, the Democratic president, remember it's because your Democratic congresswoman told them to not vote for the Democratic president in the primary. And she won't have the excuse that, well, I was saying primary, not general. You don't slap the president in the face and then expect to be treated as a member of the caucus in good standing. And so Rashida Tlaib is not there to represent the squad. She's not there to represent Palestine. While there's merit in all those things, you're there to represent your hometown constituency in the city of Detroit. And I will tell all my friends and family in Detroit that your congresswoman has failed you and frankly embarrassed you, and there could potentially be ramifications.
I don't like to be a sourpuss, but if you want to see Donald Trump beat Joe Biden, then you have voices of Charlemagne and Rashida Tlaib questioning Joe Biden's leadership, suggesting he's not fit for re-election. That's how you do it. Democrats beating themselves. I mean, right now, Democrats have been given a historic opportunity with an alliance of independents and disaffected Republicans that showed up with the Democratic coalition in 18 and 20 and 22. And you're telling me going into 2024 that a sitting Democratic congresswoman and a leading voice on the left are going to say, nah, we don't know about our guy. Maybe we shouldn't support him. That's a bunch of hot garbage, Alex. And if those voices don't fall in line.
In line.
Man. Yeah, that's Don Calloway, who we used to have in Rising Days, for people who haven't forgotten. He's certainly still dropping some spicy takes. I mean,
just for fun, let's put up Don's LinkedIn here. By the way, what he's up to nowadays. Do we have the next element here?
I don't want to insult the guy, right? If you want to, you can. All right. What does he got?
Impact investor, venture capital, private equity, management consultant, corporate affairs.
I always liked him, for the record.
I like Don. Sure. But he's threatening. Basically, he's saying that Detroit is not going to get federal money because Rashida Tlaib is standing up for this. Not 1 second of debate on MSNBC about the issue itself, what she is standing up for.
Right.
And instead, she needs to just get in line. Like, wasn't that his? Isn't that the phrase?
Basically, he was like, you can't slap the president in the face. He's like, I understand it's a primary, not a general. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty relevant to me. It's not actually. I was telling you, so I was at a Hassan Minhaj show, which, pretty liberal and also predominantly a big Muslim audience. This happened on Saturday. And I like to just pay attention and be like, okay, what's the tune out there? And just preview, I'm not going to spoil the set, but he did a good job. And actually, I was even interested for the amount of jokes at Biden's expense. And it was hitting. It was hitting with a liberal audience, and there were a couple moments where, in particular, I saw some of the attendees, many of whom had hijab or something like that on, clearly were Muslim Americans who were definitely cheering at Biden's expense.
They were loving that.
And I was just like, huh, that's interesting. It's one of those where you rarely know whether something you read on a poll or something that you see on social media, is it real? Can it manifest itself in real life? But there were a lot of people there, from what I can tell. Again, people who I would definitely code as uber libs, people who were definitely Biden voters or likely to be in that category in 2020, who were not happy, I think, with the president. Now, will they vote for him in the end in 2024? Maybe, but a lot of them may sit it out too.
Yeah, from the people that I talk to in, say, Illinois and Michigan and in the Muslim American community, unless all of the people there are lying or overstating it, it seems like the revulsion at Biden for what he's doing is almost universal, like beyond what anybody has seen before. And you hear it from so many people who will tell you, I have always been somebody who argued against third parties, who said you're never, because these are Muslims in America, first of all. Like, they're never getting everything that they think they ought to from the American two-party system. So they more than anybody else understand, compromising in order to get the lesser of two evils. So these are people who have been making the lesser. These are state representatives. These are Michigan party leaders, majority leader.
Well, do you remember
the mayor of Dearborn?
I was going to say, do you remember the guy that we interviewed in New Hampshire? The guy who ceasefire. For people who don't, you should actually go watch the interview because it's hilarious. This is the most ultra Biden bro voter that they're at the end of the interview. I don't know if you remember. He's like, by the way, I just want to say thank you to our Capitol Police. And I literally started laughing.
Like, for what? No, for January 6th.
I was like,
yes.
I burst out laughing because it would not even occur to me that somebody who is like the most ultra normie lib MSNBC voter, like you said, who is abhorred to third party, Cornel West, or any of that. Even he is like, don't vote Biden.
And he was the one, he was the one who organized write-in ceasefire in New Hampshire, which ended up getting, they were expecting 200 or 300 votes. It ended up getting about 1,600.
Wow, okay.
Which not
a lot.
But it's not many people in New Hampshire either.
But it's probably going to be a lot more potent in Michigan. And
if uncommitted beats Joe Biden in Michigan, it still necessarily doesn't change anything. No, but at least people will feel like they had a chance to say on a national stage how enraged they are. And people keep thinking, well, this is Muslim Americans. Yes, it is. But it's also young people. It's like,
that's right,
people under 30, 35, which was, and Joaquin Castro, to his great credit, has been pretty outspoken on this. CNN had him on to talk, and they tried to do a horse race thing with him, and he brought it back to the actual policy.
Right.
Saying, like, what Biden is doing is damaging to the U.S., damaging to Israel, and it is turning off young people and Muslim Americans.
So the question is, though, why is it just Rashida Tlaib? I haven't seen AOC say. I think she said Biden was the best president of her lifetime, or something like that. Why is it not, all of these other squad members?
It's a good question. Yeah. It's a good question. Because if you had the entire squad, say, rallying in Michigan for uncommitted, then I think that has a bigger impact.
Sure.
You have seen a split there. The rest of the squad has supported Rashida Tlaib. They voted against censuring her. They've said supportive things about her, but they are letting her kind of take these bullets for them. So they're not really operating as a squad in this.
All right. Well, we'll see how it works out. I'm very curious. Ceasefire, as you said, didn't exactly get a lot of votes, but I could see it actually become something. Well, and especially here's the thing. In this particular case, you have an actual elected representative. Crystal's been telling me that Rashida Tlaib has been raking in money you know,
Yes,
with
millions,
some of these stances,
millions.
millions of dollars. So clearly, I
Interesting
mean,
if she
there's enough
spends,
people.
Imagine if she actually spends like 4 uncommitted.
Right, that'd be interesting.
And also
Yeah.
in New Hampshire, it was a 2-week organic campaign. This has financing behind it. And like you said, Rashida has actual money. If she decides to pull the trigger, then she can even go up on air.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.